Another episode is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbooking app. Not only is it safe, but it is secure and reliable. And for all the first-time users out there, if you use the promo code MOATS, you will receive up to $1,000 in deposit bonus money. So, Deke, tell them all to stop wasting time, download the app, and use the promo code so they can get an opportunity to make a little money. It was a good game. Pens obviously lost last night to the Boston Bruins, 3-2 in overtime. They fall to 4-2-1 on the season. Obviously, the Boston Bruins have improved to 4-1-1. But then we got the rematch, man. They'll be right back at it tomorrow night at 7 p.m. in Boston. But as a whole, man, I know what we should do here too.
What?
I'm not even going to ask you if you watched it. I remember we talked about this last time. You're going to talk first and get a little surprise action at the end of this thing, right?
Wait. This is not how we did it the first time. All right, so you want me to give my take? All right, dude. So
you give your take, I give my take, and then we'll see who watched what.
All right, ready? So it wasn't looking pretty. It wasn't looking pretty for sure,
Very
just
true.
like all the other Penguins games.
Very
we were
true.
down. I don't remember the score exactly.
It was what, 2-0?
I think it
I
was.
want to say it was in the second.
It was 2-0, and I think they actually scored on one of our power plays, right?
Yes,
At the
they
beginning,
did.
it was like, what the hell's
Yep.
going on? And then I thought initially the Pens were looking pretty good to start off. Rust had a few chances. I'm like, wow, could they get off to a hot start?
did.
But then all of a sudden it reverted back to then they're up 2-0. And I thought the same thing though. Like Jari played pretty decent. Like if you look at the final
did. He
stats, his
definitely
save
did, man.
percentages there and everything, it's just. Dude, the one came off. I think it was the first one. It came off the pass that was trying to go across the blue lines, and then just got deflected. Then the guy was wide open and just ripped a really sick shot. But yeah, I thought he played pretty well. But then we got our legs together over the second and third period. We scored a couple goals, which were I thought Russ, man, like he had 4 times where he could have had a goal. I thought.
I agree, man. I thought he played well. The thing, continue.
No. I mean, Kapanen had the second one to finally give us the tie.
And that was his first. That was his first goal with the Pens as well, man. So shout out to him for that, man. That was a big time thing.
Yeah. So,
but man,
no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, man, I agree. I do think that they did what they typically have done this season in terms of start slow, get themselves in a hole. But then from there, they go on this just crazy rally. I thought in the second and third period, they outplayed the Bruins thoroughly. I mean, you could just see it. They were the more physical team. And I thought their speed was on display in a big way last night. We talk about this team being a fast team, and they're starting to show it more consistently. And that's the thing that I like. I mean, you could just see some of the things that they're able to create, some of the breaks that they're able to create solely based on the speed. Now, part of that, I do feel that with that, they should be capitalizing on these opportunities a little bit more. And obviously in the overtime period, I thought it stood out the most, especially with Malkin. He was a little bit too passive, especially, I mean, I guess like the ending sequence of it was the highlight, right? In terms of you saw the Pens get a 2-on-0 opportunity in overtime and great pass to Malkin. Malkin makes an extra pass. Didn't need it. Should have just shot it. Then you see the flip side where the Bruins get the exact same scenario. Literally a possession or two later, they capitalize on and score. As a whole, I feel like we're still getting into where we need to be. I thought last night was very impressive because, like I said, Boston's a good team. They're not, some.
That's what everyone was saying coming into this. Yeah,
they're a
this
good
will be a
team,
true
man.
test.
Yes. So to see them compete with them like that and them be able to compete at a high level, even with them not playing their best hockey. To me, I think that's very encouraging because it's only going to continue to get better. The more these guys are out there, they're going to get back into playing shape. They're going to get a better rapport with each other. But I just think that, man, it was a really good test last night for them.
Yeah, at least they got the point because...
Yeah, very true. Very true.
I mean, you were thinking, it looks like they could lose this, but then they tie it up just like normal. But then all of a sudden you're like, wow, are they really going to steal this game? But then, like you said, see, I'm just going to be straight up. I watched the highlights. So here's one of the things, actually, one of my subscribers commented on the video that I did was that they didn't even show that, like you said, the 2-on-0. I think he said it was a 3-on-0 where we missed it.
So it was a 3-on-0 at first, and then I forgot who it was. He fell at right around like center ice. He fell, so it ended up becoming a 2-on-1 or 2-on-0 at the end of it. Yeah.
But then the other one that they showed was Malkin hitting the crossbar though, which is like, that was it to end it. Like, all right, that could have ended it, but then it came back with the 2-on-0 that the Bruins had, and that was kind of honestly, that was almost very similar to the first goal the Bruins had. It was kind of fluky just because the turnover happened. at the other side of the ice, but then no one was back on defense. It was like, what the hell can you do? And it was just too easy.
Yeah.
I thought it was at least going to go to another shootout there just because there was how many seconds left on the clock. But it is what it is. These Pens games are crazy, though. Like, I'm actually thoroughly enjoying following them. I know I haven't been watching the full games consistently, but, man, like these have been fun to watch.
No question, man. And that's my thing. I'm like, if it's exciting like this and you can see the back and forth, as much as obviously like it sucks for them to lose, I feel like you can understand it. I guess you're more understanding of them dropping the game when they're still competing at a high level and they're taking teams to overtimes and the shootouts for them to drop it. If they were to just get smashed 2-0, 4-0, I think it'd be a totally different feeling from not just me and you, but from the fans as a whole that tune in. But they're still putting together a good product. You can just see it's the beginning stage. They're still laying the foundation for this season, man. And without having the full offseason like you would want it, that is a part of it. It does take a little bit of time. And I mean, even when we talked football, can bring it in parallels. We heard Rocky Bleier talk about that as well, talking about how with the Steelers, because of the veteran group, they were able to start out a little bit faster than everyone else, but eventually they kind of got caught once, people started to figure them out. I think with the Pens, it's the reverse of that. I think with the Pens, they do have veteran players, but this group hasn't been together a long time. They're still figuring each other out, still just trying to make the puzzle fit. But once it does click, man, I think that they can really do something special because you see the talent and they're doing this all while Malkin isn't even playing his best hockey. I mean, Malkin is off to a slow start in terms of how many goals he scored. If you look at what he's on pace for this year compared to other years, it's drastically lower. And it's weird because sometimes he doesn't look as enthused. Other times he's making the right play. It's just a weird dynamic with him right now. And I don't think it's injury related. So it's going to be cool to just see how long it takes for him to kind of get out of that rut. It's almost like a mid-season rut. But when you think about a guy like Malkin,
but you're expecting a hot streak at some point, like a hot month where he just completely goes off. And if we can be 4-2-1 at this point, where, like you said, maybe he's not playing his best right now, then who knows what could happen when he is hitting his stride. And just even the full team in general, dude. Like, I don't know. That's pretty cool that Boston's a good team. I mean, we've played some good teams. I know people were pretty down after the first couple games of the season, but it seems like the Pens have turned it around at least, where you're at least expecting playoffs, and then if you get in the playoffs, you have a chance, right? That's all.
Oh, yeah. And the thing was, you got to remember, too, our first game was against the Keystone State rivalry, man, in terms of opening up against the Flyers. That was going to be heated. The back and forth that's between the two, but it is what it is. I thought the slow start in those two games gave them kind of the wake-up call that they've needed to progress these past, 5 games now where they've been able to go 4-1 over that stretch. I think that this is a team that's going to continue to get better. They're going to continue to improve. And like we said with Malkin, once he hits his stride and he gets that hot streak, now you're talking about scary territory because they're doing this with him really playing not bad hockey, just good hockey. And we know he's an elite player. So I think that's the difference right now, too.
What do you think of Jari? Are you a believer? Have you turned around?
I will say this. I've been really impressed with Jari his past, 3 games now. I think that he's done really well. He's definitely starting to get a lot hotter. But also, we talked about this earlier with both him and DeSmith. The defense in front of him, the defense in front of him is playing a lot better now as well. I think all of those things are going to be a combination. And we're not saying that Jari is a bad goalie. We were just simply saying that, man, we don't think that Mike Sullivan believes in him to that extent, whereas the organization does. That's why they gave him the contract they gave him. But
I think he needs to start believing. I think he needs to start.
But the
second goal was the 5-on-3 too, where it was like he passed it right across the net, and then the final goal was 2-on-0. So there was not one bad goal I thought that he gave up.
But see, for me, I look at it like this. I think the reason he's playing better right now compared to at the beginning of the season is because he felt that fire lit under him. He felt that, hey, this isn't my job. It's not a guarantee. I'm not the guy. I have to come out here and compete every night. And when you saw them pull him multiple times and then start DeSmith in big games, I think that gave Jari that wake up that, hey, this isn't just my spot because I got this contract. I got to work. And if you perform like that every time, great. You will be the starter. It won't be a debate. But just know, as soon as you start feeling complacent, as soon as you start feeling like you got this is your spot, Casey DeSmith is going to be ready to go. And that's the same thing we talk about with football. We always talk about competition and how it's either going to breed, it's either going to make the best in you come out, or you're going to whimper and go to the sideline and be a bad player. So that's why for me, I love competition. And that's why I'm always a believer that competition should be the case every position, not just, the key spots that don't include, big time players. I think competition is key, man. If you're a big time player, you'll beat out any competition. It shouldn't matter. But complacency will kill you. And I think that's what was going on a little bit earlier with Jari. Now, hopefully he'll be able to continue the streak, though.
Yeah, I'm sure DeSmith will probably get a start in one of these next couple games here just to give Jari a break. But I think he could definitely be the guy. I know based off what we were talking about, maybe it could have been up in the air for at least this season based off Jari's play. But, man, I think he's really stepped up over these past, what have we said, 3 or 4 starts?
3, yeah.
Yeah, so, I definitely have faith in him. And I think the talent overall just kind of –
you can see the talent.
Yeah, the talent
you
just
could definitely
goes
see
to
it,
show
man.
that this is definitely going to be a contending team for sure.